It was early autumn when Claire, Jess, and Nina landed in Bucharest, each of them desperate for an escape from their exhausting jobs and dull routines. They had been best friends since college, their bond forged over midnight pizzas, heartbreaks, and shared dreams of adventure. Romania wasn't their first choice, but a last-minute travel deal, coupled with stunning photos of the Carpathian Mountains and tales of hidden villages, sealed the deal. They rented a compact, slightly battered SUV from a friendly guy named Vlad. Vlad passed them the keys and wished them welcome to the Dracula country, while smiling, which made them all giggle, stocked up on snacks and local wine, and hit the road toward the countryside. The further they drove from the city, the more enchanted they became. Hills rolled like green waves under a wide-open sky. Villages sat tucked into forested valleys, each one like a postcard from another century. They stopped at roadside inns for bowls of ciorba de burtă and thick slices of homemade bread, washing it down with surprisingly good plum brandy. Locals were warm and curious, and everything felt suspended in time. On the third day, they found the listing: stay in a restored 15th century castle in the Carpathians. Isolated, authentic, unique experience. It had a perfect rating, though curiously few reviews. Jess, we're absolutely doing this. Nina hesitated, but Claire, captivated by the photos of stone turrets against misty woods, agreed. The drive to the castle was longer than expected. The paved road faded into gravel, and the GPS blinked out in protest. A dense forest loomed on either side of the narrowing path, and the sunlight thinned to long golden threads. Finally, they rounded a bend, and there it was. The castle was smaller than they imagined, more of a fortified manor with ivy crawling over its ancient stone and narrow slit windows that stared blankly into the trees. A wrought iron gate creaked open as they approached, seemingly by itself. Nina, okay, that's not creepy at all. Inside, the place was rustic but elegant. A great hall with a massive fireplace, high-backed chairs, candle sconces. The host had left a note on the table. Welcome. Make yourself at home. Do not open the cellar door. Please be inside before nightfall. They exchanged a glance. Jess, typical local superstition, adds to the charm. They explored the castle, took selfies in front of the stone hearth, and ate a simple but delicious dinner of sheep's cheese, smoked sausages, and fresh tomatoes. As twilight settled in, a chill crept through the air. The wind outside had picked up, whispering through the trees like voices half heard. It was Nina who noticed it first. The cellar door. It was closed earlier. Now it stood open just a crack, revealing descending stone steps swallowed in darkness. Claire walked to it and slowly pushed it closed, bolting it. They tried to laugh it off. Maybe it hadn't been latched properly. Maybe one of them had opened it and forgotten, but an unease slithered in like fog under a door. The night was unsettling, filled with a silence that seemed to press against their ears. The air felt thick, almost tangible, with an unspoken dread. As they lay in their beds, every creak of the house seemed amplified. Every shadow seemed to move. They could feel it. Something was not right. That night, they chose to sleep in the same room, an upper chamber with thick velvet curtains and a single narrow window. Jess, always the lightest sleeper, woke them up with a whisper just after midnight. "Do you hear that?" Jess whispered. It was faint at first, a rhythmic tapping, like long fingernails brushing the stone outside the window. Then came a low rustling, as if something or someone was moving just beyond the glass. Claire crept over and peeled the curtain back. Nothing. But the tapping resumed on the opposite wall. Then the howling started. Not wolves, not quite human either. A mournful, otherworldly wail that rose and fell, surrounding the castle like a song of the damned. We're leaving. Now. We can't. It's pitch black out there. The road is barely a path, said Claire. With voice full of fear, Jess said, "Then we wait. First light. We run." The rest of the night was a blur of half-sleep, clutching each other under thick quilts, while something prowled outside, sometimes scratching, sometimes laughing in a voice that sounded almost human. At one point, the door handle jiggled, but the barricade held. When dawn finally crept over the horizon, they didn't wait. They sprinted down the stairs, keys in hand, past the now wide-open cellar door. Claire swore she saw movement down there, a flash of pale skin and black eyes. They burst through the iron gate, hearts pounding, fumbling the key into the ignition. The SUV coughed to life. As they peeled away, Claire glanced into the rearview mirror. A tall figure stood just outside the gate, watching them, cloaked, unmoving. They didn't stop until they reached the city 6 hours later, as the afternoon sun bathed Bucharest in gold. That night, safe in a modern hotel, Nina checked the castle's listing. It was gone. No trace of it. Not on Airbnb. Not on Google. Not even in their browsing history. As though it never happened.